No one noticed the old man sitting on the cold pavement outside the crowded marketplace. His clothes were torn, his beard untrimmed, his hands trembling as he clutched a small, empty cup. People passed him like he was invisible. Some looked away in discomfort, others tightened their grip on their wallets, and many didn't even slow their steps. What none of them knew was that this broken-looking beggar was once a billionaire who owned skyscrapers, companies, and more money than he could spend in 10 lifetimes. That morning, however, he carried nothing except a heavy heart and a silent question that had haunted him for years. Was kindness still alive in a world obsessed with wealth? Before we go deeper, if you believe kindness still matters in today's world, if you believe second chances can change lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more heart-touching stories like this. The man's name was Adrian Hale, though no one knew it anymore. He had built his empire from nothing, growing up poor, hungry, and angry at the world. Success came fast, but so did loneliness. Over the years, betrayals, fake smiles, and greedy hands surrounded him. Even his closest friends disappeared when he needed them most. After a sudden health scare that nearly ended his life, Adrian realized something painful. Despite all his wealth, he didn't know if anyone loved him for who he truly was. So, he made a decision that shocked even himself. He handed control of his companies to trusted lawyers and went undercover as a homeless beggar, determined to see the world as it truly was. For weeks, Adrian wandered through cities, train stations, and markets. He slept on benches, endured hunger, and faced humiliation daily. People avoided him, security guards chased him away, and shop owners treated him like dirt. He had never felt so small, so unwanted. At night, he stared at the sky, wondering if this was how the world treated those with nothing. His expensive suits and private jets felt like a distant dream, replaced by aching bones and a broken spirit. One afternoon, exhausted and weak, Adrian found himself near a modest neighborhood market. The air smelled of fresh bread and dust, and the noise of bargaining filled the street. He sat down slowly, his legs shaking, and placed his cup beside him. Hours passed, and not a single coin dropped in. His stomach burned with hunger, and his eyes blurred with unshed tears. That was when he noticed them. A woman and her young daughter approaching from the other side of the street. The woman looked tired. Her clothes were clean but worn, and her face carried the lines of someone who had faced hardship without complaint. The little girl held her hand tightly, her eyes bright and curious despite the world around her. They were clearly not wealthy. Their steps were slow, careful, as if every purchase mattered. Adrian lowered his head, already prepared for them to pass by like everyone else. But they didn't. The girl tugged gently at her mother's hand and pointed toward Adrian. The woman stopped. She followed her daughter's gaze and saw the beggar sitting there, fragile and silent. For a moment she hesitated. Adrian could see the conflict in her eyes. She reached into her pocket, pulled out a small purse and opened it. Inside were only a few coins and a folded bill. It was clear that this was all she had. Slowly, she walked toward him. Adrian felt a strange tightness in his chest. He didn't look up. He didn't want pity. He didn't want to be seen, but then something unexpected happened. Instead of dropping coins into his cup and walking away, the woman knelt down in front of him, bringing herself to his level. She gently placed a small packet of bread beside him and set the folded bill on top. Her daughter smiled shyly at Adrian and gave a small wave. That moment broke something inside him. No one had knelt for him in weeks. No one had looked at him like he mattered. This woman, who clearly had so little, gave not just money, but dignity. She didn't know who he was. She didn't expect anything in return. She simply saw a human being in need. Adrian's hands trembled as he picked up the bread. His throat tightened, and for the first time since beginning his experiment, tears rolled down his face. He turned away, ashamed of his weakness but deeply moved. The woman noticed his tears and paused. She didn't ask questions. She didn't pry. She simply placed a comforting hand over her daughter's shoulder and gave Adrian a gentle nod, as if to say, "You're not alone." As they walked away, the little girl turned back one last time and smiled again. That smile stayed with Adrian long after they disappeared into the crowd. That night, Adrian couldn't sleep. He replayed the moment over and over in his mind. He thought about how many times he had ignored people like himself back when he was powerful. How often he had been too busy, too important, too rich to care. And yet, this struggling mother had taught him more about humanity in a single moment than his billions ever had. Over the next few days, Adrian returned to the same spot, hoping to see them again. He didn't know why, but something told him this encounter wasn't over. When he finally saw them, he followed at a distance, careful not to scare them. He watched as the woman bargained carefully at shops, counted coins before buying groceries, and still found moments to smile at her daughter. He learned they lived in a small, cramped apartment, and that the woman worked long hours doing cleaning jobs to survive. Adrian made a decision. He revealed his true identity through his lawyers and arranged for a meeting. When the woman was told that a wealthy businessman wanted to see her, she was confused and frightened. But when she arrived and saw Adrian clean, shaven, dressed in a simple suit, her eyes widened in shock. He told her everything, who he was, what he had done, and why her kindness had changed his life. She listened quietly, her daughter holding her hand just as tightly as before. Adrian didn't just offer money. He offered opportunity. He paid off her debts, secured her daughter's education, and offered the woman a stable job with dignity and respect. But more importantly, he changed himself. He started charities focused on dignity, not just donations. He made time to see people, not numbers. He never forgot what it felt like to be invisible. Before the story ends, I want to ask you something important. Please comment below and tell us, what does kindness mean to you? Your words might inspire someone who feels unseen today. Years later, Adrian often visited the marketplace, not as a beggar, but as a humble man who remembered where true wealth came from. And every time he felt lost, he remembered a tired mother, a smiling daughter, and a piece of bread given without conditions. If this story touched your heart, if it made you feel something deep inside, please like the video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps spread stories that remind the world that kindness, no matter how small, can change everything.